This video is on the objective identify dependent samples versus independent samples. Now you've seen the words dependent and independent in the past. When, in the probability chapter, when you talked about, dependent events versus independent events. This is a pretty similar concept here. Two samples are dependent if they either share some common outcomes or if the results in one sample have something to do or are related to the results in the other sample. They'd be considered dependent. Whereas independent samples are totally separate. If you have two independent samples, it means all the data and results in one sample have no effect, have nothing to do, will not affect, will not change the outcomes in the other sample. Right. So let's take a look at this first question that I'm looking at here. So again, if you want to see more about the topic, just click on more instruction here. I've already answered it, sorry. Click on more instruction and look at their notes, their examples, their videos. Hopefully those help you. Alright, so the question is, a television station executive would like to determine whether there is more viewership during the 6 p.m. time slot or the 7 p.m. time slot. The executive takes a random sample of 25 days and collects the viewership numbers for the 6 p.m. time slot into one sample and the viewership numbers for the 7 p.m. time slot into the second sample. The executive claims that these samples are independent. Do you agree and explain? Right, as you already saw, I answered no, okay, because the data points in the first sample can be linked to the data points in the second sample. Let's think about that. 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. for this one television station, they're back-to-back hours. So when you look at the viewership numbers, there may be viewers in the 6 p.m. sample that are also in the 7 p.m. sample. That's what they mean by, data points in the first sample being linked to data points in the second sample. Right? Because I'm sure for if someone's watching this radio station or this television station at 6 p.m., they're probably also watching at 7 p.m. if it's a show that's similar or whatever. Right? So the fact that that could happen, that there could be viewers, the same viewer in both time slots, you might have the same people represented by both samples, these would be considered dependent samples. Right? If they were independent, this person would have taken a random sample of viewers from the 6 p.m. slot and then a totally different sample of people in the 7 p.m. slot. Right. But all he was looking at are the viewership numbers. And again, some of these numbers that are watching at the 6 p.m. could also be some of the same people watching at 7 p.m. because there is that link, because there is that relationship between the two samples. They are dependent, not independent. All right, so again, we can read through these other ones. Yes, they're independent because the executive sorted the data into two distinct sets. No. Again, they're not distinct because some people from the 6 might be in the 7. Right. And then this yes, because the number of viewers at 6 p.m. will almost always be different than the number of viewers at 7. Not necessarily. Yes, because the same program must be shown during both time slots to make the samples truly dependent. No. No, again, it's no. There's a link between the two. Again, they might be sharing the same people, right? The two samples might share some people, so they are dependent and linked in some way. Okay. And again, read through your answer explanations. And as I said earlier, two samples are independent if one sample has no effect on the other sample. Right. In this case, the data for both samples are from the same day, and it is possible that on any given day, many of the people that like to watch the program at 6 also like to watch the program at 7. Right. So this means that a good viewership number at 6 could make it more likely that there is a good viewership number at 7, right? So the viewership at 7 may depend on the viewership at 6. Right. Okay. Again, there's hopefully some sort of straightforward link, and that might not be the only link, but they're definitely not independent. All right. So again, hopefully it's easy to determine. Hopefully understand the words dependent, independent. All right. And hopefully listening to me here, reading through your answer explanations when you see them, looking at more instruction when you need to. Hopefully all this stuff helps you out when you're doing this material on your own. And thank you for watching.